there comes a point when it comes to pop, pop culture and dealing with the general public that it must be said that just because somebody has the right to do something doesn't mean that they should. Case in point, Team Ninja Theory. They've been obviously hammered by, and I agree that it's moronic, they've been hammered by the old fan base, downing this game, making petitions to try to get Team Ninja Theory to change back their vision of Devil May Cry into the white-haired heroine that we know of, and Team Ninja decided to respond. How did they respond? Well, links to the article as well as the video is down in the underbar. Basically, they created, storyboarded out, and they storyboarded out, animated, and created a little sequence where the new Dante gets an old Dante white wig. And he takes a look, and then says, "Not in a million years," and walks off. Which, as one user to the video had put it, and I like this, ignoring the whole Dante versus Donte argument, wasn't it kind of childish and a waste of time for Team Ninja Theory to write, storyboard, model, and render what's essentially a middle finger to the old fan base? Also, this is coming from someone whose only experience with this series is Devil May Cry 3, and therefore can't call myself an actual fan. And if it was just them, to a degree, I wouldn't be as upset, although I agree that it's completely childish. How do you, Team Ninja Theory, how do you somehow come out of this looking any more mature than the fanboys and the fan bases, and I can't believe you're making me defend fan bases, that have decried what they've decried? You could have just been the adults here that you're supposed to be. You could have just ignored it and released the game to what will likely be critical acclaim and fanfare, even from some of the people in the fan base who will likely try the game, even if they are gritting their teeth the whole time because Dante's hair isn't white. Granted, I mean, the argument in general is absolutely stupid. You know, it's like saying, oh, if Old Snake suddenly had both his eyes all the time or something like this would somehow retroactively destroy Old Snake's contributions to the Metal Gear series and make the game suck even more than some of the detractors say that they suck. You know, but it's not just them. This has been a growing trend that has bothered me ever since the first Transformers movie. Now, I wish I had screen capped this stuff because I can't find the old threads anymore, and that's too bad. But what some see as being very innocuous and innocent, when I've seen how Don Murphy, the head designer of the Transformers for the series, was in the forums against the fan bases, it didn't make the scene where the new Camaro Bumblebee attacks the Volkswagen in the movie and virtually destroys it. For those not in the know or those who've only grown up with the movies, in the cartoons and the toy series and the mythos, Bumblebee was originally a Volkswagen. And to be honest with you, having a Volkswagen that could possibly be kicking ass, or butt, excuse me, pardon my language here, you know, like Herbie style to a degree, like going into battlefields and just tearing that stuff up, that might have actually been a gamble that could have paid off. What did Don Murphy and the team do? They created a scene where they're basically making fun of and crapping all over the original G1 designs via Bumblebee. But it's not just there. Transformers the Animated Series, first show. I almost couldn't continue watching the series because I'm like, this is a recurring theme. You've got new Optimus Prime, who I still hate the designs, but I was willing to give the series a chance, just like I did with the Transformers movies. I gave you 3 chances. 3 chances, Bay. You had one job and you failed at that. Anyways, And new Optimus is watching literal clips of Transformers G1, and the medic Ratchet walks in and is like, "What are you watching that old junk for?" Oh, so the very series that is responsible for the popularity and indeed the existence of your current series is junk now? I'm like, why? Why would you do that? Why would you take such a stupid and childish stance and actually put it into your professional released work? And it's not stopping there, folks. No, no, no. Uh, Before I get to my grand example here, let's talk about RoboCop. Yes, most of you don't remember RoboCop. Here's his original incarnation. Ask your dad, kids, what RoboCop was. Maybe he'll pull out the old VHS or something or the DVD and show you. You know, I don't think the design's half bad. It could use improvement. I'm not opposed to that. But somebody who's read the script, and maybe this turns out to be false, maybe it doesn't, but honestly, with the way that a lot of creators are taking it personally, I wouldn't be surprised. They bring out the original RoboCop design in the new reboot to a focus group of criminals, and the criminals laugh at the design. So then the suit, over the course of the movie, goes through apparently 4 different versions, with the 4th version being one that can transform, a la Michael Bay's Transformers. And my hope plunges for the series. Look, if they had made it to where the last suit design was still similar but could transform, that's fine. But to openly bring it out for the old fans of the series and basically say, "Ha ha ha, you have crappy taste in designs and movies, so we're going to mock you via our movie." You know, the original RoboCop, the very thing that, even though by the 3rd one it had killed itself as a series and a franchise movie-wise, is the sole reason for the fact that you even have a movie in production and have a job. Eat me. But no. Then we come to the person who I tend to detest the most. Got my new Game Informer today. Got the good, the bad, the ugly, and that I didn't care much about because screw that. I usually don't care for some of what they consider good and bad in Game Informer, but it's this quote by Reggie Fils-Aime. Reviews of our system, or reviews of our system, or reviews of our game really come down to the quality and capability of the reviewer. After some bad feedback about the Wii U, Nintendo's Reggie Fils-Aime points the finger squarely in our direction. In other words, despite the fact that Iwata, the Japanese president of Nintendo, has at the very least willingly admitted to the mistakes of the Wii U's launch and apologized. Not only has Reggie continually deflected any and all talk about the problems and the disasters that was the Wii U launch, he's done everything in his power to basically tap dance around and sell, sell, sell. Can you understand now why I have a deep-rooted hate? No, hate would be too strong of a word. A deep-rooted dislike of Reggie and want him to go away. He is not a good North American president. He never admits to the problems except for maybe far down the road, and even then he's continually spinning instead of at least giving us the dignity to admit when he's made a mistake, when his company that seemingly can walk on water and do no wrong has made a mistake. You know, need I remind you about the Virtua Boy? Although the Virtua Boy I happen to actually like as a system once you get used to the system's visuals, but I digress. And it just bothers me because it's like, oh, we're not wrong. You're wrong for disliking what we're trying to do here. You're wrong for not understanding the subtle nuances of what we are doing here. You know, do they have a right to fire back? Absolutely. But just because you have the right to do so doesn't mean you should. Anyways, as always, I leave the discussion up to you, my audience.